everybody, it is me, Amy of Aspire with Amy and 3D Lash and Brow, and I'm here to do a movie review on one of my favorite movies called The Last Holiday. Y'all, this movie is the bomb because not only is it uplifting, but it also talks about the power of manifestations. And so we're gonna jump right into it. So the movie actually starts off with a woman named Georgia who is played by our Queen Latifah, and in this movie she is basically kind of lived her whole life where she hasn't really asked for much in life. She's played it safe. She, is kind of afraid to, go after the things that she really wants to manifest in her life. And it starts off in the movie with her even being in choir, being called out by her pastor for not singing loud. And so it just kind of shows you the temperament that she has, where she's more of like mousy and just kind of quiet and just, downplays all of her talents. And in this story, somehow she's taking care of a teenager. I don't know if he's like a homeless child that she picked up off the streets or if he's just some abandoned kid, I don't know, but somehow she's raising a teenager, which is weird because you could tell that she has never been married or doesn't have relations with anyone, so I don't know. But either way, it shows a scene where she's like cooking this fabulous dinner for this teenage boy, and she's got it all looking beautiful, and she takes a picture of it and she puts it in this book, and the boy's kind of like, this is the bomb, like what is this, like why are you taking a picture and putting it in this book? And she's like, just mind your business. So this rude teenage boy that she picked up off the streets from somewhere, I don't know, but he goes into her cabinet, takes out this book, and he sees basically like clippings and pictures, and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, what is this book? She's like, this is just a book of possibilities. So I love that, y'all. It's kind of like a vision board, but it's in like a kind of photo album format, which instead of kind of just staring at a vision board, you can actually like flip through. So she has like everything that she really wants to do in life. She even has a cutout of a picture of the man that she wants to marry, which actually happens to be her co-worker, who is played by LL Cool J.
Morning, Miss Bird. Mr. Williams.
And however, in this movie, LL Cool J is more of a kind of a corny cheeseball. He and Queen Latifah both really like each other, but they're both afraid to tell each other that they are in love with one another. So they're just kind of doing this cat and mouse dance, and they have like these really cringy kind of flirtation scenes where they are like flirting with each other, but it's just so awkward. Anyways, so but they both don't have enough guts to kind of go after what they want, which is each other. Well, one day when they're having one of their cringy flirt scenes, Georgia hits her head and she is like knocked out, and LL Cool J somehow carries her to a hospital inside of the department store. Very confused about that, but somehow there's a licensed physician on staff who happens to have a CAT scan and runs her through the CAT scan, and it determines that she has some kind of huge brain tumor.
Lord, dear Lord, wow, gee. Bless him. Lord, oh, no. Come on. Oh, Lord, come on. Come on, Lord, why? I don't understand. I followed your commandments, Lord. Why it happens me? I never slept around, even though my sister did. Why it happens me, Lord? I never cussed my boss or nothing like that. Why it happens me?
That is basically going to kill her in about 1 week. So she decides to check out her health insurance, which turns out to be a scam because she's been paying a premium for years and years. However, they won't cover anything for her surgery, which happens to be $100,000. So here she is kind of boo-hooing, crying, looking at her book of possibilities because she just never really lived her life. She wanted to do all these things but never took any steps to make it happen. Well, she decides, you know what, I think I'm just gonna, if I'm gonna die in 1 week, I'm just gonna go for it. So she ends up going to her job and finally talking to the boss, which the boss and the CEO of the company happen to be kind of huge jerks, and they treat her like crap, but she's never said anything. So finally she takes it upon herself to let her manager know, you suck and I quit.
You got a problem? Yes, I do. That's a $400 phone.
Enough is enough right now, Mr. Adamian. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to tell you what's happening.
Why am I even wasting my time trying to talk to you? You know what? I quit. You what? I quit. You can't. Why can't I? Fourth quarter sales are in the toilet in this store and all the other stores too, for that matter. Your department has the highest profit record in the place. I can't afford to lose.
How come you never told me this before?
I didn't want you to do what you're doing right now. Hold me up for more money. Which I'm happy to pay, as God is my witness.
As God is your witness, huh? As God is your witness?
And that's what she did. And not only did she do that, but she ended up booking a ticket to one of the places that she's always wanted to go to, somewhere in Europe. And this is when everything really starts to change. Not only did she do that, but she started singing loud in the choir, talking about, why me, Lord, why me? And she just kind of was like, you know what, God, I'm just gonna go for it. So when she gets on this plane, it's like a 9-hour flight, and the dude in front of her is like leaning back in his chair, and like all up in her lap, and she's like, I'm not about to spend 9-hour flight with his guy in my lap.
Stewardess, this person behind me is giving me a hard time.
Ma'am, would you mind lowering your knees so the gentleman in front of you can put his seat back down?
Actually, I very much would mind. Now, I'm not flying all the way to Prague with some stranger in my lap. I know that's right. That's a big boy. That's a big old man right there. I can't look at him.
And so the flight attendant, who happens to be extremely rude, I'm not sure if it's because she was in economy, but they just happened to be extremely rude to her. And they're like, well, you know what? If you upgrade to first class, you wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Had you chosen to fly first class, ma'am? Hi. Had you chosen to fly first class instead of economy, you would have had plenty of room in one of our cocoons.
How much is it?
Beg your pardon?
How much for the damn cocoon? Here, here.
So she does, and that's when she starts to live, y'all. She upgraded to first class, and they are serving her lobster, and she's just having the best time up in this cocoon, okay? Which is super cool because this whole time she's never really enjoyed the fruits of her labor. Like, even when she would cook for other people, she would not like enjoy. She would take a picture and put it in this book. So now she's just really starting to live, and kind of that sets the tone for the rest of the movie. The moment she lands, she ends up booking a really nice hotel, and because she's like unapologetically living her best life at this point, people are starting to notice her. Like, before she could just kind of blend in, but now people are like, who's that? Who's this? Like, wow, she's just kind of doing her. She goes to this restaurant, and she decides to order basically everything off of the menu. And the chef, who is like a really prestigious, well-known chef in this area, is super excited because he's like, wow, somebody wants to try everything that I cook. And everybody wants to speak to the chef, but he chooses to meet with her because she's just doing her thing. And so again, she's starting to bring more and more attention to herself. Everybody wants to know who she is. And guess what? Sometimes when you start to shine a little bright, people become jealous. So there's a man at the hotel, which actually happens to be the CEO of the company that she just quit. He's at the same hotel in Europe, same time, same week. I don't know, but he's starting to see who is this woman, and he's trying everything in his power to kind of take her down a couple of notches to show that she's not all that, y'all. Give me the attention. But you know what? Nevertheless, she keeps on shining, and she starts to just kind of let go and release some of this kind of scarcity mindset. She starts gambling, and she starts winning all of her money back ×3, and she's just doing really well. And so, you know, there's a scene where she's just kind of like, God, you know, like, I did not live my life, and I want to live my life. And she's just like, if I get more time, you know, I'll do right with my time. Well, during this time, the guy that she, you know, LL Cool J was in love with back home, he finally decided to become an alpha male and book a ticket to figure out where she is. Once he realized she was dying, which he says it wasn't because she was dying, but once he realized she was dying, he decided to say, you know what, I'm going to tell her how I really feel and fly and find her. And so he finds her at the hotel, and he's like, you know what, whether we have 5 minutes or 5 years, you know, I want to spend that time with you. So now she's manifested abundance. Now she's manifested the love of her life. And all of a sudden she gets a fax and information that the diagnosis that she received from that CAT scan in the mall department store was inaccurate. So oops, just kidding, you're not dying. So but at this point, things have already been set in motion to where life is just really manifesting for her. And so she continues to go back home. Everything in her book of possibilities starts to manifest. She opened up a restaurant. She got married to LL Cool J, who was the cutout in her book. And she starts meeting the people that she wanted to meet in her life, traveling to the places and doing the things that she always wanted to do. But she waited basically until she had no more time left. And so there's a few things that I got from this movie that I loved. And so the first thing I want to say is the book of possibilities, or a vision board, or whatever thing you're using that you want to happen in your life, it will not work unless you put some action and faith behind it. So if there's a man that you're interested in, or if there's a place that, you know, book the trip, okay? Tell them you like him, tell her you love her, whatever it is, make massive action. Don't wait. Another thing that stood out to me in this, you know, movie was basically, once you start to shine, sometimes you get haters, okay? But that doesn't mean you need to dim your light or your shine. You keep on shining. Do you, girl, okay? And that's exactly what you did. And it keeps bringing more and more abundance. Haters are always going to find something to hate about, so just keep it going. Another thing that I want to mention that stood out to me in this movie was, once she released that poverty, scarcity mindset, everything started to come to her like tenfold. Okay, once she released, when you release energy, things come back to you. So don't hold on so tight to everything, okay? And last but not least, do not wait till you are dying to start living. So many of us have so many goals, dreams, places we want to go, but we're always like, oh, for my 60th birthday I'll go here. No, why wait till then? Do it now. You don't know if you have that 60th birthday coming up, or 50th or 40th, or whatever it is, you know. But if it's something that you truly desire, don't wait till it's too late. Okay, and my name is Amy, and that was my review of one of my favorite movies, The Last Holiday, and talking about vision boards. Make sure you subscribe and send me a message what your thoughts are on 3D Lash and Brow, Instagram, or aspirewithamy.com, and I would love to hear your thoughts.